there was a whole lot of white people on one end and not as white people on the other end.
Wow, now that you mention it,
I never thought about it like that, bro. That's so funny.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an interesting discussion. Sometimes I'm Haran. I'm back with the boys. We got Tarun, Christian, and Harsha. And this week we got on a special guest. He's one of my best friends from college. He's also a fellow mechanical engineer. So let's go. I think that might be the third one we've had on, but we'll get on to that. But yeah, his name is Tyler. I'll let him introduce himself to the podcast.
Hello, I'm Tyler. Yep, one of the best friends from college, but the third one to be on the podcast. So
yeah,
I'll let that speak for what it is.
But yeah, Tyler, you want to give like a little background introduction of who you are, what you're doing right now, where you are?
Sure. Yeah. So I went to Virginia Tech with all of these lovely people that are on every single time. And then from there, I moved up to Michigan, actually. So I'm up here working for GM. So mechanical engineer, but I'm a software engineer according to work. So
what software?
I'm doing software now. I switched. So I'm not doing mechanical stuff anymore. So I'm writing software.
Charlie would be so proud of you.
She will.
So you're actually like the fucking 12th software engineer on this podcast.
So I should have stuck to mechanical. Then.
We need that diversity.
So what kind of stuff are you doing in your job right now? Like anything you want to share? If you don't have to share if you don't want to, if it's not interesting, but
no, it feels like a challenge. Now it feels like I have to talk about it to prove that it's interesting. No, right now I'm writing the controls for charging for all the EVs. So a little less glamorous, I guess, than some of my other positions up here. I'm not driving around. I used to be test driving lots of the vehicles in some of my other jobs. But this one's a little more chill than that. But it is interesting to be doing some stuff with EVs. So
I mean, it means you still apply mechanical engineering principles then. So it's not like complete software. Yeah.
No, that's fair. Yeah. I'm also not doing too much actual coding, so.
Very nice.
Wait, so when you test drove, did you was it on a track or is it like on open roads or what's up?
No, we're not allowed to test on open roads. We're not Tesla. Tesla does that with all their beta drivers, but so throwing some bars at Tesla early on. But no, yeah. So it's all in closed courses. So we've got a whole bunch of test tracks up here, and then. I've gotten to go like up north pretty much. It's like as close to Canada as we can get all the way up north. And we've got some like winter tests that we'll do up there. So we'll drive in like snow fields and ice fields and stuff to test like handling in those conditions. So yeah.
So like are the cars that you're working on right now, like are they released to the public or are they like
Some of them are. Yeah. There's some cool stuff that I got to drive. Like I drove for anybody that knows a little bit about cars, the V-Series Escalade they just announced that a little while ago. And I got to drive that one. That was probably one of the cooler cars that I got to drive just because I was driving that one around before it was actually like even announced, like even public that we were going to be making it. And I was getting to drive that one around. So that was pretty cool. Also a crazy fast SUV too, which just doesn't even make sense. But yeah.
True, did you recently test drive too?
I did not.
Oh, you didn't go at all? I thought you went.
I've been woken up in time for it. Basically, I'm trying to buy a car, like a Camry. Or sorry, not a Camry. Why did I say that? I'm trying to buy a Civic right now.
Okay.
And then I was trying to go like test drive it like 2 weekends in a row. And then I didn't wake up for those like in time because I wanted to go in the morning and I had stuff later on.
Nice, okay.
And then I sprained my ankle real fucking bad. So then I was like, for like 3-4 weeks, I was like, I cannot really I shouldn't really do anything with this. And then the past couple weeks, I've been having to write a research paper. But these are all basically excuses to say that.
Yeah. What kind of Civic was it? Is it a base Civic or a Type R? What kind of...
Hey, watch out. He might try to get you to drive a GM car.
It is a base Civic. But it's nice.
Okay. No, Civics are good.
Yeah.
You're saying that. I still drive a Honda too. I drive an Accord. So
no, it's it's actually pretty insane. Like all the features that I feel like were luxury like maybe 5-6 years ago are pretty much all in like the base cars now. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. Technology moves forward sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, what the fuck, man?
But yeah, speaking of Michigan, you recently purchased a house there, right? Like, where are
I
you again?
did.
Like, you're outside Detroit, right? But close to Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
or-
so I've now gotten in the habit of just saying Michigan because people always have bad connotations when you say Detroit. And technically, I am closer to Ann Arbor, where I'm at right now, than I am to Detroit. By like I'm like 5 minutes closer to Ann Arbor than Detroit.
Okay.
But I'm pretty much like right in the middle of them. Yeah. So if anybody wants to stalk me, if you're enjoying my voice that much, it's Plymouth. Plymouth, Michigan is.
Oh wow,
is,
that's a lot of
where
information.
I'm at. So yeah. And you guys, I guess. The four of you guys can see, nobody else can, but like if you looking up there, we're missing some pieces of the house at the moment right there. There's no trim right there. There's gaps between the ceiling and the wall. If you're looking right there, if you look closely, you don't even really have to look that close. So it's still a work in progress.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I got a big fixer upper, so a project house.
Nice.
And I've been pretty much grinding on that for a while. We've kind of taken a break here for a bit, which is why there's still some work left to be done. But yeah, when I got it, it was a completed home, and then I very quickly ripped it apart. So I took it pretty much down to just studs, and we redid just about we redid insulation, electrical, plumbing, drywall, floors.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
Was that like
we
always the
redid just about
plan,
everything.
or like you just didn't like the design of the house from the get go?
A little bit of both, I guess. We planned to do some of it, and then once we got started, we just kind of ended up doing all of it. We weren't really planning on doing, like the room that I'm in right now, we weren't really planning on taking out, but once we got started, we just kind of kept going with all of it.
Yeah.
So the house is super old, so like some of the walls were plaster.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't even drywall. And for some reason, you guys know what like popcorn ceiling is?
Yeah.
Like they're like textured.
Yeah.
The dude that owned the house before us did that to the walls. So it was like disgusting. Yeah. You couldn't like put your furniture up against the walls. You couldn't lean up against the wall. Like, so those rooms we knew like that they were coming down. The walls were coming down in there real quick. I had no idea. I don't know if that was ever a style at any time period. I have no idea. But so stuff like that we knew we were definitely taking out. And then like the electrical we pretty much knew we were going to have to do as well, because like some of the outlets only had like the 2 prongs, like it wasn't the grounded 3rd prong, and we wanted to get rid of that. I didn't really want to do the plumbing, but we ended up doing that. I got peer pressured a little bit into doing that. So our pipes were super old and like corroded, and because they were still metal because the house is old. So I was glad we ended up doing it, but that was probably the most stressful, I guess, thing that we've actually had to do on the house. So
Wait, do you know
nobody
how-
ever gets to see it. So,
Do you know how long the house was inhabited before like you got it? Like when did the owners leave?
well, they left like right before, like literally the day that we signed was their last day in the house. But the house itself was built in 1905. Part of the house was built. So
Wow.
a very old house. Yeah. It's cool though. Like if you go in the basement, you can see like they put some stuff from like an old barn, I guess is what it looks like. So there's like beams that would have like held up a barn that are down in the basement that are like supports. And like when we were ripping all the stuff out, we uncovered one that's like a vertical support for the house too. So we left that uncovered. So we're going to try and like trim that out and finish it out too. So you can actually like see that that's in the house too. So there's some cool parts of it. There were some annoying parts too, where some of the stuff is just kind of crazy. But yeah, so it's a very old house in some places for sure. Cause part of it was 1905. So
You know, in the antique house market, those beams are like a huge ass selling point. And I only know that because the house that I lived in when I lived in New Hampshire was originally built in 1793.
okay, so that's got me beat by.
Oh my god.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
We redid like probably like 40 to 50% of the house, like when I was in middle school. Because we had a bunch of like water damage after like a really harsh winter. And everything, when it thawed, like it basically just destroyed like a lot of the architectural part of the house, like the foundation and stuff. And so, but one of those things is like the part of the house that I lived in, it was a huge ass house. Like these old houses, like they were built for like multifamilies and whatever. And so the part of the house I lived in, I had a good deal. I had like a bedroom and like a half living room, whatever. Shared a bathroom with like my mom, but it was straight. And so I'm saying all that because I had those huge support beams. They were in the ceiling. They were like uncovered. And they were like, people that came in to like assess the house when we were getting ready to sell, is like those beams like by themselves would add like an extra like $50,000 just because like people get a hard on just by looking at exposed wood. That's a sentence I don't think I want to repeat.
Did you guys do all the work on the house yourself?
No, we did some of it ourselves, but we had a contractor like in town. It was a really small town that we were good friends with. And so he and his crew, like we had a good relationship with them. So it wasn't like a friends and family discount, but it was like a fair trade-off with like a working relationship. I'm assuming
we did pretty much.
Yeah,
we did everything. The only thing that I was like, nah, I don't want to do that was the gas line. So we completely swapped where the kitchen was. So we've got like a gas stove. So we had to move the gas lines for that. Also, we had to swap the gas line for the dryer because there was holes in it. I don't know how the people before us were using it. Yeah, it was ridiculous. But that I was just like, I don't really want to mess with gas because you can smell if it's leaking kind of, but if there's a small leak, maybe not. So I didn't want to mess with that. So the only thing we like paid somebody to do was the gas work for that. So, and it was expensive. So I was glad I did not pay for the rest of the stuff. So it took a lot of work, but yeah.
Have you done like this type of stuff before with your family or anything like that, or you just like learn it?
No, yeah, pretty much just learning it. So my girlfriend like lives here too, Jamie, and she did a lot of this stuff for like a year. She lived in New Orleans and did some work on some houses there. She was building houses, and her dad is an architect and also built the house that they currently live in, like pretty much by himself. So. Wow. I had some solid support to lean on. So
nice.
Yeah. So definitely had a leg up on most people for doing a lot of that stuff. But some of it we were just kind of like, all right, let's go on YouTube and see how this goes. We'll figure it out. Like neither of us had ever done plumbing before. So like we just talked to her dad and her dad was like, you guys will be able to do it. It'll be totally fine. Just do it. And we just went for it, I guess. And it was a mess. It was a mess. Trying to cut everything out. We also couldn't even get so there's like the water main into your house that you just turn off and no water can get into your house. But ours was rusted out or something. And we couldn't actually close it all the way. And so for some reason, I was convinced that it would be fine to just go for it and close it as much as we could and then cut the pipes out and we just bought a new shut-off valve. So we decided to just go for it. We closed the water as much as we could and then cut the pipes out in front of it. And then very quickly got our new valve connected and then closed that valve. So that was definitely the most stressful part of this entire time. I had like the water shut off people on like up on my phone ready to go in case something went wrong and we started flooding out our basement. But yeah, that was terrifying trying to do that and not flood my basement. It worked out totally fine though.
That's good. That's all that matters.
Yeah. But yeah, so YouTube and also having people that actually know how to do some stuff is a bit of an advantage for this stuff.
Yeah. That's really dope. I would love to do that shit. I don't know if I'd be any good at it, but I watch like a ton of like home renovation or like they do like a lot more cosmetic stuff, I guess. Like they redo a kitchen and whatever. And that shit's so entertaining to me. But
honestly, I was in the same boat and I was like, that sounds awesome. I'd always wanted to do that. And then Jamie was just kind of like, well, let's do it then. Let's do it.
That's hard.
And I was like, all right. I mean, I guess so. And here we are now. So,
dude, I'd love to see some pictures if you want to send them later.
Yeah, no, I can send you guys some transition pictures between the two. It's pretty well. It's like crazy the difference. Like the bathroom, which I'm pointing behind me for the four of you, is like right back there, and they had like tile wallpaper, but like brown. On the ceilings and the walls, everywhere. So it was like dark, super, super dark. And wallpaper in a room, like, you shower, it gets condensation. Doesn't make any sense to put that, like, on the walls, fine. On the ceiling, no. Like, that's where all the... It was terrible. It was, like, dark, dingy, disgusting. And so we ripped all of that stuff out and, like, tiled it and all that stuff. So, no, I'll definitely send you guys... some before and after pictures. I always like to flex the house project. So
Do you have like a yard that you have to redo as well, or do you not have a lot of like acreage or space?
We do. So I'm giving more clues to those people out there that are trying to stalk me out here. But I am actually in downtown Plymouth. So yeah, so really narrowing down that circle for those 1 or 2 people out there. But
no further questions.
We do actually have a yard though.
Oh,
so
awesome.
that is the one like benefit. So it's honestly, I sound like Drew, who I know was on here before me, not bitter, but it's okay. Talking about this stuff, but we've got it so we can walk to like breweries and bars and restaurants and coffee shops and that stuff, but we still have a yard. So we did have to take care of a little bit of that. The people before us did not take care of it, so everything was sloped at the house, which means all the water runs into the house.
Yeah.
So we had to get that stuff fixed. So we had to like regrade it and then reseed the grass and all that stuff to try and fix it so that we don't get water pouring in. And also we had like one spot where water would come in, but it also just like destroys the foundation of the house when you have water just like pooled right up against it. So we had a little bit of that stuff to take care of too, but that was not quite as big of a project, I guess, as the inside of it. Yeah.
Nice.
Are these like stuff you do on the weekend, or you do it like after work every day kind of thing?
At this point, it's the weekend. But when we first got the house, for some reason we were like, all right, this will be a good idea to like leave our apartment like a month earlier than we anticipated, which like cut off a month from what we were going to do here. Mm-hmm. So I was working like 7 to 3 for my job. And then I was like 3 to 10 or 11 o'clock, like at the house, working on the house, trying to get stuff figured out. And then weekends was like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Out here working on it. And it was like that for like probably a month and a half, 2 months. And that was tough. That was tough for sure. And then we had like Jamie's dad came up because I didn't want to do the electrical totally by myself. Mm-hmm. So he came up and helped us just to make sure we weren't going to electrocute ourselves. So he just helped us run some of the wiring through the house, and that sort of stuff. And then we actually like connected up all the outlets and everything, light switches, all that stuff afterwards. But so that was a big help too that they came up to help us out. Mm-hmm. But even with all that work, when we moved in, we had a bedroom that had walls on it that were painted, and the electrical was working there. And then there was no floor though. So there was a floor, but it was just like the wood subfloor.
Just a floating
bed. But so what we actually did was like my parents just had carpet. Like when you get carpet put in, they give you extra. And so we took that and we just rolled it out so that our bed was like on that. So it was just like rolled out on top of the floor. So that, and then we had a bathroom, and that was literally it. And the bathroom just had cold water. We didn't have the hot water up and running yet. So we had cold water. That's it. We didn't have a stove. We didn't have washer, dryer. We didn't have a kitchen, like none of that stuff. So that was a mess. Then luckily, like the week that we moved in was also the week that we had they're plumbers that do the gas stuff too. Mm-hmm. So we had them come out to fix the gas. And so as soon as they fixed the gas, because we just had to totally shut off, because like I said before, there was like holes in the line to the dryer, which is just like crazy to be living there. And gas is just like, not only are you paying for that, but that's like terrible for you. And you could literally die if it catches on fire. So we had the whole gas turned off. So when they came though that week, then we got the gas turned back on. So we were only without hot water and a stove for, I guess, about a week. And then from then on, it was like a grind to get the rest of the house like functional so that we could actually use it. And once we kind of got to that point, honestly, we've just been like chilling for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you get a burnout after.
Exactly. Yeah. So like pretty much all we have left is like finished work. Like I was saying, like there's the gap between the wall and the ceiling right there. We just have to put some crown molding in there. We don't have like, and that's why there's like the gap at the closet door right there. We don't have the trim on that stuff. So it's basically all that we pretty much have left to do. So everything is fully functional, but
that's good.
But yeah, so we were working and doing that at the same time. So it was a grind for sure, but hopefully in a couple years when we either flip it or rent it or whatever we're going to do, it'll be worth it. So
yeah.
And then you can run it back next house.
We'll see. Probably not quite the same way we did. Probably give ourselves a little bit more of a buffer so we can move into an actual house and not just pieces of wood. But we'll see. Yeah.
So you mentioned the plumbing part was the most stressful. What would you say is like your most favorite part that you did this and so far since you've been working on the house?
Honestly, the plumbing is what I'm like the most proud of, which nobody ever sees. Just because it was so tough to do. It wasn't even that, not to diss on any plumbers or anything like that. It wasn't that difficult to do. It was just a lot of like, we had to like pre-plan it. So, and this house is also pretty small. It's like a 3-bed, 1-bath, but it's like small square footage. So it was pretty easy, and it's 1 floor, so it's pretty easy to do the plumbing since we have a whole basement. But I feel like that's probably what I'm the most proud of, just because it was like a very stressful thing to do, and it actually, I mean, knock on wood, it's worked so far. We don't have any leaks. So that was pretty cool to do. I think like the kitchen, I think is what is easiest to see that looks the best. Like when we moved in, the kitchen was just like in a small tucked away little area. It didn't make any sense where it was. So the kitchen was like in a super small spot, and then there was a huge spot for like a dining room that you couldn't even really use as a dining room. So we just completely flopped it around. And the kitchen looks like totally different than it did before. So I think that's probably like the easiest thing to see and to show off to people actually, that I think looks the best. But since I've already told some of the plumbing stories, the plumbing is probably up there with that as well. Nice. Yeah. So I'll send you guys before and after pictures of the kitchen. Kitchen's also not fully completed yet because we don't have trim in there either, but it's just about completed. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I mentioned, Tyler and I go way back into college. When we first met, we both quickly realized that we're big soccer fans. And that was like our biggest bonding point, I feel like. And when we first started talking. So Tyler's from Philadelphia, so he's a Philadelphia Union fan in MLS. You know, they're doing pretty well in the playoffs right now. Do you think they'll win it all this year?
DC in the regular season.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about DC.
A couple touchdowns against.
We were actually that game. Me, Harsha, and Tarun were out for dinner while that game was happening.
I thought you were going to say you were at the game.
No, we weren't at the game, but we were just like we were at dinner, and like the game was right like on the screen behind us, and like every like 5 minutes there would just be another goal, and I would just get more depressed and just start chugging my drink. It was bad.
I wasn't watching the game. The first one, I wasn't even watching it either. I was just getting updates on my phone, and at like 4, I was just laughing. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, DC United.
I think that was the first. That was the first one of the games. I think anyway, when Philly went on that tear and they just started putting up 5, 6, 7 up against pretty much everybody. But back to what you were alluding to there, I think. How do I think they're going to do in the playoffs here? We'll see. I'm excited for the game this weekend against MICFC. The revenge game. Hopefully it will be anyway, because of the game last year where everybody had COVID. So it will be interesting to see how that goes. I think Philly will be out for blood a little bit.
I feel like this is your guys' year. I feel like you guys have been like you guys have pretty much been at the peak for like two years now. It's just not.
I'm a bit worried because everybody's saying that, and I think they do much better when there's a little bit less pressure going on. And also,
I feel that.
Alec Adoya's been out for a bit, so we'll see if he's back or not.
Fair.
We'll see. I think he's one of those unsung heroes of the Union that doesn't get very much credit, but it is pretty much Bedoya and a bunch of kids running that midfield. So we'll see. I think we'll need him out there against that game, but who knows? I have a feeling this will be out after the game. So Christian, if you could do me a favor, and if they do in fact just scratch that whole part right there. Yeah,
no, we gotta shout out our boy in the playoffs.
Are you talking about the guy in Austin FC?
Yeah.
Daniel Pereira?
Yeah, Danny Pereira.
Danny Pereira, okay.
Yeah, he went to Tech. He was a number 1 overall
Did he
pick.
really?
He was. We watched him, Tyler. I forgot. I don't remember. Oh, and when we watched your friend play against Notre Dame, or playing for Notre Dame, he was on Tech at the time. But yeah, he was like the number 1 pick in the MLS Super Draft, like the year after, the 2 years after.
Yeah. That's crazy.
The year we graduated.
Yeah, so the year after,
Okay.
Yeah, he actually
he
pretty much starts in that midfield for Austin FC.
Yeah. I think he did not start their first playoff game, and that was part of the reason why they went down 2-0 real quick in that first game. So
yeah,
I didn't realize he was from Tech.
So I guess we'll be rooting for him in the west side of the bracket. But
I gotta go back though. You said you and I go way back. I think I go a little bit farther back.
I was gonna say that. Oh, Tyler, you're taking
on this podcast though. I'm trying to remember. the first time from the West Egg days. Was it both, Harsha and Tarun, was it both of you guys that I played spike ball with? Was that like before at like orientation or something like that? Was it both of you guys?
No,
I was thinking about this.
It was just me. Yeah.
It was just you two? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to ask you what you remember about that first interaction.
Wait, so this is orientation like summer before school started.
That's what I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was orientation, right?
Yep, orientation, like summer 2016, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know like anybody in my orientation group, and oh man, there was like one other kid that I befriended, I think, and then me and him played spike ball against you and your friend, which Chris, that's his name.
Yeah, my roommate. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We were talking about this the other day because we're like reminiscing, and I was trying to remember what his name was, but
I actually randomly, I was at Firefly the other week, randomly ran into him out of nowhere. I had no idea he was going to be there.
Wait, that's crazy.
That's insane.
We were just walking around, and I was like, looked over my shoulder, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Chris. And then it took me a second, and I just yelled his name. And he turned around, and it was like one of those things, like we weren't expecting to see each other. It took me a second to register who it was. And he's just staring at me. And then it like kicked in, and he was like, oh my God, and came running over. So I hadn't seen him in a while either.
That's funny.
But what I remember about that, I feel like the main thing I remember was Chris and I just spiking it over your head repeatedly.
Damn.
I was hoping they didn't remember that part, but I never got bodied.
That is potentially the only part that I do remember, unfortunately. How do you remember it? Do you remember it slightly differently? Do you just remember a lot of jumping? Or
no, I just remember being like, oh wow, like I made a friend. Like that's honestly
that's cute.
Okay.
That's nice. That's nice. That's nice.
That's so wholesome, yeah.
It was especially hype when we reconnected back at West Egg. For people that don't know, West Egg was our dorm, and me, Harsha, Tyler, and Chris ended up all on like the same floor basically. Which that was
separated by a whole middle area, which seemed a little bit suspect because. You know, there was a whole lot of white people on one end and not as white people on the other end.
Wow, now that you mention it,
I never thought about it like that, bro. That's so funny.
That is, it was a bit questionable how they laid everybody out.
That's actually funny. Wow, I didn't think about that.
I can't believe you didn't put that. I feel like I've talked about that.
Tyler told me about this. I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you guys. Yeah.
Wow. Although I will say, so basically on me and Harsha's side of the hallway, there was like 4 rooms and like one bathroom for 4 of those rooms, and then your side of the hallway was like 10 or 12 rooms for like one bathroom, and it smelled fucking disgusting over there, bro.
It did. Yeah, no, there were a couple people that needed to work on their hygiene for sure that were down in that side. Yeah, but that's true. So maybe you guys made out better than us. I
liked our side.
Yeah. Me and Harsha got the end room too, right? So it was like the biggest one.
That's true. I did have the smallest room in West Egg, so I guess I have that bragging points.
Wait, is that a fact?
About that. I'm pretty. That is a fact. Like we looked at it and we talked with the RA about it, and it is a fact. We couldn't fit everything. Like normally, you can fit all your stuff up against the wall. We couldn't fit like what did we get? A bed, a desk, and a bureau or whatever, and we couldn't even fit all that stuff on the ground. We had to have lofted beds to be able to fit all that stuff in the room.
That's dumb.
That sucks.
It was the smallest room, so.
Meanwhile,
so maybe you guys made out better. I don't know.
In Harsha and Tarun's room, they had the beds on the floor. They had about like 10 feet in between where their beds are. They had like a double, like a his and hers sink. They had everything. They had
his and her sink.
We had one sink.
No, man, it's pretty
I had
bougie.
the RA right next to me too, who was very chill, so that wasn't actually a big deal. But
he
had
Tyler.
the room to himself. Tyler, he had the room to himself though, and I was like, you couldn't just swap that if you knew you were going to be alone. You couldn't have taken the smallest room, like.
Damn.
But do you
have any funny stories from West Egg? I feel like I didn't hear like being on our side. I feel like I didn't hear much about your side that much.
Man,
little segregation happening between these halls. What the hell's going on?
Honestly, it was like it was the same hall, but it was very separated. Like it was the huge lounge with
it's true.
Like,
the lounge was
like all that stuff was right in the middle. Yeah. I'm sure were you there, Huron? I feel like you were friends with them, right?
Yeah, we like Harsha and Tarun's.
Yeah,
Harsha and Tarun like room was like the meetup spot for like our squad, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is kind of crazy. I'm sure I ran into you multiple times. And
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
no idea who you were until, was that sophomore or junior year?
Sophomore year,
Remember?
yeah.
Sophomore year? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. See, I'm showing how bad my memory is. So you're asking for some funny West Egg stories.
Yeah.
And I'm just delaying here to try and come up with any good ones. But I feel like I don't really have that many from West Egg. I don't know if it just wasn't that crazy or if my memory is just that poor. Maybe a combination.
I feel like it wasn't that crazy, but I also remember like wasn't there like something where like somebody's like PC lit on fire or something? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that did.
Yeah.
But that wasn't. I mean, I guess that was a little bit crazy. Yeah, that was. I think that was Herman, who was like the other side of me, not the RA, but his computer. I don't even know how it caught on fire. I don't know if there was dust or something in there, but yeah, it caught on fire, and I guess it set the alarms off. But he was just like chilling. I wasn't there, I don't think, when that happened. I just came back and was talking to him, and he had his computer like half out the window, like desktop computer like half out the window, to try and air out. Yeah, but I feel like honestly, if that's your craziest story from a college dorm, it makes us sound kind of lame.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the best I got at the moment, though. So,
Harsha, do you remember meeting Tyler the first time?
Yeah, I met Tyler on the first day of school, like our freshman year. We had our first class. Well, I don't know if it was Tyler's first class, but it was my first class at 10 o'clock. And yeah, that was
which class was it, man? I don't even remember.
It was like an STS class.
Was it? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The sustainability something.
Or
That's what I thought it
science,
was, right?
Science, Tech, and Society or something.
Yes. Okay. I was like, I can't remember if that was my first class, but I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. Ironically, in that same class, like one of Jamie's best friends from high school was in that class. I did not know she was in that class until I met her senior year, like after Jamie and I were together, and she had like stopped going to tech. But I just met her at a party, and she was like, "I know you. You were in my class freshman year in that same class." I had no idea.
Damn.
So there was lots of people, lots of random connections apparently in that class that I didn't fully put together in the moment. So
crazy.
Go to all your classes, kids. You'll meet friends for a lifetime.
Or like 2 years later, you'll realize that you had friends in those classes
Yeah.
that you didn't know.
Christian, you want to share do you remember your first interaction with Tyler?
I honestly don't remember. I think
I knew you as the kid that would always take her on to go play basketball when we were supposed to be playing soccer.
What? It sounds like I kidnapped him. He was definitely voluntarily.
In my book, it was kidnapping. Yeah.
Well,
Haran and I were on our little library dates, and then he was like,
Gotta go.
You know what? Christian's coming to steal me to go play some ball. I gotta go.
It's true. Honestly, I'm glad Christian pushed me though, because if not, I would just be like just in the library like way too long. Like
fucking nerd. Anyway, yeah. So what I remember about Tyler is that Haran had this like fictitious group of friends that we kept hearing about for like months, right? He could have made up all the names and we wouldn't know who the fuck they were.
Okay, can I get some context to this?
No.
Let me get some context. Okay, so freshman year, like I pretty much only hung out with like Harsha, Turn, Christian, all like the whole squad, which was fine. Like it was great.
Great.
And then sophomore year, like I like moved to mechanical engineering, and then like over time, like I kind of like formed like a mechie group with Tyler, and then people have been on the podcast before, Charlie and Drew. So by like junior year, I was like kind of like, you know, like juggling both friend groups. But most of the time, like when the three of us, like me, Tyler, Drew, and four of us.
We lived with him, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. When me, Tyler, Drew, and Charlie were hanging out, quote unquote, it was most likely we were studying, and then like maybe in like an hour or two, we'll be like, oh, let's go get dinner or something. Like there wasn't. There were times where we're like,
come on now, yeah.
No, we had some fun. We had some fun,
but drinking with us too.
We had like, I feel like 60 or 70% of our interactions were like studious, you know. And
That's fair. At the beginning.
At the beginning, yeah. By senior year, most of us had chilled out. If Charlie's listening, she already knows she's not part of it. But yeah. So okay, now I'll let Christian continue.
Well, so basically, like for the first like month and 2 months that you were hanging out with your other friends, like we didn't meet any. We don't know if they were real or not. So this was just like a cloud of names that just followed you around that we didn't know if you were making it up or not. So
what do you assume I was doing instead?
Just going to the library by yourself.
Playing FIFA in my room where you live. What?
I don't know.
But I think the first time, at least, like consciously remember meeting Tyler, other than like passing by at the library when you were studying, was like because the first year that I lived at Collegiate or you lived at Collegiate, Tyler lived really close.
Yeah,
right?
Tyler was still there junior year.
Yeah. So that's the first
Yeah, I
time.
was there the year you lived on his couch and the year that
Yeah.
yeah. Christian did not live on our couch, to be clear.
Only on the weekends.
on the weekend.
But the most memorable like first time I interacted with Tyler was when you guys came over to make dinner, and I had just gotten FIFA.
Yeah, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to get at.
Okay.
I was an innocent FIFA player, bro. I just played offline. I was like, just having fun. Tyler's like, you fucking pussy. You gotta play online. You gotta play Ultimate Team. You gotta play against real people. Otherwise, what the fuck's the point? I mean, I don't know if I said it like that.
To be fair, I told Christian this before, but I think it meant more coming from Tyler, like a white male.
No. It's because when I played you, you would destroy me like 8-1, and I'd be like, I have no will to play against other human players. It's just demoralizing.
So is this flipping to be an insult to me here? Are you saying
no? You just want to know the path. You just want to know the path that you let him down.
And then after that, bro, I think I became like the biggest FIFA crack addict in the entire North America scene. I started streaming FIFA. I started playing Div Rivals until I became like Elite Division. I became a fucking whore for Ultimate Team.
I didn't know you were streaming. I would have given you some support back then. I didn't know you were streaming. You didn't share that with me. No, it's just, what did you pack, like Messi or something like that too? I think.
Yeah, you packed Messi almost immediately after getting Ultimate Team.
And then
stupid.
For the next like 3 FIFAs, I was just like hooked, and I was like it was also Haran's fault. It wasn't solely Tyler's fault.
I did play a role here. But I'm out. I'm 2 months sober, so.
Yeah, no.
I might have to call BS on that. I swear, the other day I got on to play some FIFA and I saw.
Wait, I'm not playing Ultimate Team. Oh wait, hold on. I take it back. I'm 2 months sober from Ultimate Team. That's
okay.
Actually, yeah. Also, last year I didn't get it until it was free. So
how is anybody going to believe you when you were like, I'm sober? Except.
Yeah,
that's just not quite how it works.
It's like, I don't drink alcohol anymore, but just on the weekends or something like that.
Yeah, it's like when Christian said, I didn't sleep on the couch. It was just the weekends. You lived on the couch. That's how it works.
It was a living arrangement, okay? But yeah, so... Like Haran, I've taken a step back in my journey of sobriety, and I've waned myself off of Ultimate Team. I haven't even played an online game yet this year. I feel very proud of that. But up until this game, like hours upon hours, just fucking menu grinding, playing online. I just wanted you to know the path that you led me down, and that there was some good times, but there were a hell of a lot of bad times.
It feels like you're taking a couple steps backwards. You just said you're proud of never having played a game online.
You pussy.
We're starting the cycle again. We're starting the cycle
again. I am just a bit perplexed. I could say the exact... I got FIFA the other month or whatever. I forget when it came out. I haven't played a game offline.
I haven't played a game
offline. To be fair, the only modes I really play now is clubs. So that is against other people too. Okay. I just don't.
Okay. Is this pro clubs?
Yeah.
Yeah, pro clubs.
Okay,
not career clubs.
I just want to take us back to what Haran said there at the intro. I believe he said one of my best friends was the guest. So I'm just curious where my
invite
to the pro clubs.
I mean, I would, but like I feel like you're just like sporadically online. So I mean, once I see that commitment, once I see you like grinding out there, we have tried for our club. We take this very seriously, Tyler. So
okay.
I mean, like we tried out.
Once I finish the house, I'll get back on the field.
Yeah. Once you get your priorities in straight, then we'll have a discussion.
Yeah. Haran told me to buy FIFA.
Speaking of tryouts, Harsha
Haran told me to buy FIFA. He's like, yeah, we can all play together. So I bought it, and then I played with him like once or twice, and then he didn't enjoy playing with me because I wasn't as good as him, obviously. And so then he just refused to invite me to play ever again. So
he
basically,
is a very good friend.
Fucking asshole! Fucking $30 a play, bro. $30.
That's why Tyler's one of my best friends because he's actually good at the game. So That's
Shut
like one
the
of the.
fuck up. I met him first.
Wow.
He's mine.
He's mine.
Tyler, let's play Pro Clubs, bro. Fuck this guy.
I'm down.
Just
Haran's
fuck this guy.
inviting me to the game, so I'll play for
Yeah,
sure.
bet. Harsha, let's get it.
Yeah, Detroit versus
Yeah,
everybody.
let's do it. Yeah, there you go. Midwest. Midwest.
Oh god.
We have FIFA 21 only though. We don't have the other one.
I don't know. I gotta have that one, right? I'm sure I do. I'll throw back the years. I'll play FIFA 21 with you guys.
Well, if you guys want to get FIFA 23, you're going to need some extra income. And we get that money thanks to ads such as this one. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back, guys. We were talking about FIFA. I wanted to bring it back to soccer just for a second, just because the World Cup's coming up soon. It'll be there like in probably like a week or two after this podcast comes out. So, just wanted to hear if you had any hot takes for our country, the U.S. of A. Tyler, or
I was gonna ask you if you've picked your allegiance yet.
I'm still going England, but I'm still
going England. Okay,
but I hope both get out of the group. So just for context, guys, England, U.S., Wales, and Iran are in the same World Cup group this year. I'm an England fan from when I grew up. My dad supported England, so I just support England too. And then like I also care for the U.S. because I live here, so I would root for them. I'd root for them like if they weren't. I would root for them if they weren't playing England. They actually played England 12 years ago in the World Cup. We tied 1-1. Bullshit ass game. I'm not going to talk about it. But for the most part, England always let me down in the World Cup. US actually do pretty well. Like, surprised me.
We have no
But
expectations.
when they make it, they didn't make it last year, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
all
when
right.
they make it.
Easy. Settle down. My hot takes, though. That is a good question. If the US can figure out the number 9 position, and if Greg,
who is your number 9? Who would your number 9 be?
Oh,
Number 9 means
Man.
striker for those who.
yeah.
Oh,
that's-
yes,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to get. I thought this was exclusively for the soccer nerds, but
I'll do some
yeah,
translating.
I appreciate
It's
the
okay.
translation.
Yeah.
I appreciate the translation. So it's a fair. Who would be my number 9? I would have loved to see Brandon Vasquez get a go.
Oh.
Wow.
But he
That's a
did not
niche
get
comp.
called into it's a niche comp. What did he have, like 20 goals this season?
Yeah, I
That's
know,
not
but like,
that's not niche.
I mean, of
he
all
also-
the striker options that we have been talked about, I feel like he hasn't
He's
really
like 8th or
Yeah.
9th.
yeah.
He's
Maybe not fairly, but
We'll see. I'm pretty sure he also, don't fact check me on this in case I'm wrong. Definitely don't. But I'm pretty sure in like the under 18s or whatever, when like the Pulisic, McKinney, Adams, all that crew was there, Vasquez was the forward that was with them too for that. But I would probably go Sargent, honestly.
yeah.
I
I
don't
like
know.
that guy,
I
but
don't think
he brings
Ferreira's-
energy. I like Sargent.
Yeah, I
he's
don't
a
think
cracker.
Ferreira's it. I've got nothing against Ferreira, but I think Ferreira would be far better playing off of somebody else rather than being a lone forward up there. But I guess the other side of it is that when you've got if Weah and Reyna are both healthy, then you've got Pulisic and one of them on the wings. You don't necessarily need your number 9, your striker, to be scoring all the goals.
Yeah.
When you've got people like that coming off the wings too. But I would probably go with Sargent in there. I know Pepe's been turning it around a little bit in the Netherlands, but yeah. If Greg decided to call me up and ask for my advice, I would not only tell him that Sargent should be up there, but that Aaron Long maybe should not be one of our starting center backs. That's maybe one of the other issues I have. But we'll see. If he comes up against Harry Maguire for England, we might be talking then.
Dude, if
We'll see.
Harry Maguire starts for England, I might switch to U.S. allegiance immediately when those club starts. Yeah. That's all I'll say.
We'll
about
have to
that.
clip this for the outcome of that.
To be fair,
So
it's actually
we-
there is a chance that he starts given the center back. I mean, John Stones is back, so hopefully he stays fit. and
I
healthy.
say there's a chance. I think Gahey, the Palace boy, should be in there potentially over. Harry
I don't
Maguire,
know, man.
but-
I feel like whenever I watch him, I think he's good, but then he also has stinkers.
When did you watch him?
I don't know. I feel like whenever I watch, I feel like
There we go.
Anderson like outperforms him on the field, in my opinion.
Okay,
I
that's
feel like
because Anderson is a top center back.
Anderson is the
too.
tank.
I don't
Anderson is the
think-
tank.
His diagonal balls are absolutely ridiculous. His
almost
passing
like
is-
Van
is-
Dyke. Almost like Van Dyke. Yeah.
Yeah, before he tore his ACL, maybe. Post ACL tear, Van Dyke. We'll see.
Still a top
Liverpool
5 center
season,
back.
I feel like shows how Van Dijk has been so far.
Hey,
this
man,
year,
Palace
so.
haven't been gaining that many points as you'd think they'd be. So that's all I'll say about that.
Have you seen their start? Did you see their start? Who did they play? They played what? Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, City. It was like their first. Those were like first 4 of 6 games or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, since then,
Since then they've done compared to last season. I think they're like 2 points more than they were at last season.
yeah, I just
They're
feel like
solidly
they could be
mid-table.
doing more.
We'll
But,
see.
I mean, they're not bad. They're a good team. I like watching Palace play, especially when all their attackers are fit. I guess we should say Tyler is a Crystal Palace fan. Not one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League, but they have a very solid fan base. So
Yeah, that's fair. We got our own American boy there though, Chris Richards, who I would have starting. In case Greg is giving this a listen, I would have starting in the World Cup. So but I'm curious, Haran. I'm going to flip it back on you. I'll take over the host duties here.
Oh no.
Who would you have as the number 9 for the US?
For the US, I think I'd have Josh Sargent too. I haven't watched Norwich in the championship that much, but when I watched him in the Prem, towards the second half of last season, he was actually starting to put some goals in, just starting to just play better overall. I feel like he has the mold to be a good number 9 for the US. And I think most importantly, the energy he offers off the ball, because he's doing a lot of that last year where Norwich got relegated, but they were defending a lot. So, as you do, you have to be a very good at tracking back. And I think he does a good job with that too. So I still think with all that, the US, their real window is probably the next World Cup when it's back here.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's when everyone.
I don't think anybody would argue. Any sane person anyway would argue about that. But
if things are firing right, I think they should be able to get to the knockout stage. I mean, Wales and Iran are no pushover. Honestly, the group is pretty tough. I don't know which version of England's going to show up. If England of the Nations League the last year show up, we could be in absolute trouble. And Iran's super tough to get at. They've always been notoriously tight at the back. When at the World Cup they don't concede that many goals. They did just have a manager change, so I don't know what's going to happen with them. And Wales, it's just Bale's been injured. If he's healthy, we don't know.
That's what I was going to say. It all depends on Bale, and Bale has not been playing. Bale came over here to play for LAFC and not been doing much of anything. So
exactly.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Yeah.
But I hope England and US go through. In terms of post, after when we get to knockout stages, realistically, England with the squad they have, they should be aiming for the semifinals, if not the final. With the squad, but with the manager, I don't think we'll get past the quarterfinal, personally. And I think the US, they're most likely going to get knocked out in the round 16, depending who they draw. But
I'm curious why you say. Who do you think in the England team is actually world class?
Okay, world class is okay. I think Jude Bellingham is on the cusp of world class, but he's so young, so I don't know.
That's fair.
Reece James is world class, but he's most likely going to miss a World Cup, which is tough. I think John Stones is a top tier center back. I don't know if he's world class, but I rate him really highly.
I feel top 5 in there. You think John Stones is a top 5 center back in the world?
I think he's the top 5 center back in the Premier League, maybe not the world.
Okay, then calm down.
Yeah.
You don't think he's the top 5 center back?
That's why I just.
No, in the world. Not even close.
Okay.
I feel England's got a good squad, but I think Harry Kane is the only one that's
Harry Kane's world class.
Currently top 5.
I think
in the world
Bukayo Saka is a top 5 right wing in the world right now. I think so, easily. Easily, I think he is. Phil Foden's a good player. He's pretty good. We have a lot of pretty good
That's what there's a lot of solid players in that England team. But
I just think we have the depth in the squad to be up challenging for it. I just don't think the way we play is gonna benefit. I don't think we're gonna play well enough to see out games or control games compared to the other teams in the tournament. Which I think should be more on the manager than on the players, but. The team is still young too, so realistically, in 4 years from now, we'll have a good team to compete. But I don't know. I also don't want to get my expectations high because we're coming off the 2021 Euros where they absolutely broke my heart. So,
Yeah, I feel like there's still nobody in that England team that's going to just dominate a game. So I think that's where you're going to struggle. When you got Belgium with De Bruyne, you got France that's just crazy loaded. You got Argentina that's going to have pretty much the whole world besides whoever they're playing, trying to have Messi win his final World Cup,
And I think Brazil, I think, are the favorites. in my opinion.
Yeah, Brazil,
They're
unreal amount of talent there too. Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know if England have the squad for the semifinals, and if they don't make it, if that's Southgate's fault. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to interject here before I ask a question related to the World Cup. Harsha and Tarun, do you guys want to talk for like 5 minutes?
What are you guys looking forward to this World Cup? Are you guys gonna like watch any games? What's your?
Well, I mean, every time the World Cup's on, I tune in. I watch most of all the games, but I don't know anything like in the 4 years in between each
Where's your
tournament,
alliance? Which team are you going for here?
Oh, I mean USA.
Oh, you're not going to just pull a random country out of nowhere that you don't really have any?
Nah.
You're not?
Not.
Okay. All right, so that's just Haran. That's
Yeah, I was waiting for Tyler to be goddamn.
Yeah.
Oh, he does that in World Cup too? He does that in every sport,
He does it every sport.
Yeah.
I have
he's an England fan. I'm for what?
Because my grandfather went to school in England, man. That's a tie. I mean, that's why I'm a Liverpool fan.
Okay.
He went to school in Liverpool. So Liverpool
That more makes sense.
Club and country are different
a country,
things.
yeah. But okay.
I mean, I'd be a Singapore fan, but they kicked me out. So I mean, what am I gonna do?
I hate to say, but that is a little on you too. So
You're not wrong.
So
All right,
what do you
Tune.
think?
As a even more casual soccer fan, what are you looking forward to this World Cup? Will you be tuning in? Are you supporting anyone specifically?
Does Italy have a team that will be playing?
No.
oh my god, come on!
You kind of found
knew
the
that.
one large
There's
nation.
No way. There's no way you didn't know what you were doing with that. Yeah.
Feel the pain.
There's no way. I spent 3 months in Italy, so I have an even stronger connection to Italy than Haran does to England.
What a great
it's crazy.
segue.
So
That's on our list. That's on our list.
There, so and there's no way that you did not know what you were doing there. I'm not buying.
I don't think True knew that they weren't qualified for the World Cup, but he just saw that Italy's on our list of brainstormed
What to talk
ideas
about,
for the.
I
okay.
drew the
Hold on,
alley
so he was
for
just
you to-
pulling.
But it's actually pretty funny that you mentioned it.
Wait. Let me ask my question first. Hold on.
Okay, go for it.
It's related to the U.S. Who's your starting goalkeeper?
That is a dumb question for
No, it's
anybody
not.
besides Greg Berhalter. Matt Turner. I'm not having Stefan starting
Let's
goal.
go.
There's no
Okay,
way.
that's the answer I
Stefan's
wanted.
like from very close to where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I've got, but no, there's no way. He's
Yeah.
not
let's
been
go.
playing very
Where's
well.
he at
And
Middlesbrough? Where is he playing?
Middlesbrough.
Someone in the championship, right? Is it Middlesbrough?
Yeah, he's in the championship. Yeah, I think it's Borough.
I think he got
Yeah.
benched. I think he got benched.
He got benched at one point. I think he's back starting again. But no, yeah, I know Stefan's good with his feet. And maybe that would be useful against a team like Iran that's just going to park the bus. But I mean, even then, like you'll give up a chance, I'm sure, at least once a game. And
I'd rather have Turner in the goal for
exactly. Turner
My
is a
boy.
very, very good shot stopper for sure. So honestly, borderline better than Ramsdale in Arsenal. He is not.
Dude,
I'm not a huge Ramsdale.
I like
fan,
that.
so-
I like that take. I'm not a big Ramsdale
Yo,
fan.
I'll take it. Yo, fucking let's go.
Yeah, I'm not a big.
He gets-
we'll
he gets-
see.
he gets
Turner
caught
has been
out.
playing. Yeah, Turner's been playing really well in Europa League.
yeah.
And Arteta, the Arsenal manager, said, I think, after one of the games that he just needs to work on his feet, and he's doing better and better every single time. So
Honestly, the only time I
We'll
saw like
see.
him really bad with his feet was when they're playing in Canada, but also like there was fucking like negative degree weather there.
He
So I
got
don't even
injured.
blame him.
He got like hypothermia or something in his leg
Yeah,
after
dude,
like,
that-
that match,
yeah,
and then
that
he
performance
fucked
was-
over the rest of our season. For context, like for people that are listening, the reason I dick ride Matt Turner so hard is because he played for the New England team in MLS before he left to go play in England. So that's why I root for him a lot. But yeah, my
yeah,
boy.
no, Matt
You just wanted to
Turner
give it.
is-
You just want to give it a Matt Turner shout out. That was
Yeah.
the whole point of this.
No. Like I genuinely, I mean,
Okay.
to most people, it is a question because
No, I
Stefan
feel
seems
like-
to
I think
start
it
all the
was.
time.
I think it was like 6 months ago, but
Yeah.
6 months
It
ago
was
that's
like
when.
6 months ago. Yeah.
And then
when
Stefan
Turner was
played
still
against
in
Liverpool
MLS.
in the FA Cup semis, and that's when everyone was like, already. I mean, people were already like shifting, and then like I
Yeah.
feel like that performance and like even on commentary, Taylor Twellman's like, yeah, maybe Stefan shouldn't be starting for the US anymore.
I mean, didn't the year before that, like City went out in the FA Cup for the same reason, like
Yeah.
because Stefan made some errors there too. And just to again flex on everybody, I was at one of the qualifier games.
Okay.
And Stefan made some error in that game too. So it was the Costa Rica game.
It was a Sissy, right?
Yeah. So I'm taking Turner on that for sure.
Fair.
But
Yeah.
Harsha Tarun, who you guys going? I'll throw Horvath into the
Tim
league
Howard.
if you guys want to get
Gabby
crazy.
Tim Howard.
Slowly
Bring it back, Tim Howard.
Tim Howard. That's fair.
Dude, you could just say Italy, bro. It's okay.
Italy. I take the Italians.
Yeah. The Italians. Okay.
Okay, Haran, you can go
Yeah,
there. for
Buffon.
now.
Okay, yeah. So Tarun mentioned Italy again for the second
My
time
guy.
in this podcast, and like Tyler said, he spent 3 months in Italy, which stood out to me when I was in college because I didn't know that many people that studied abroad.
That were Italian.
Christian,
Yeah,
wanna say
actually,
something?
I only know Tyler. Actually, I don't know anyone else who did that.
So, sorry, the running joke here is that Christian loves bringing up his time in Spain when he can, but I think
Okay.
we bullied into him to just not talking about it anymore. So.
Oh, I thought Tarun was the first one of us to go to Spain. Damn, fuck.
I feel like that's how it
I could
goes.
cut out
feel
this
people
whole
who study
podcast.
abroad-
Tyler just embraced your pain, bro. He said the same thing.
No, I feel like people who study abroad never talk about it because that's just how it always goes. You bring it up because it's quality. You got some good memories from it. It's a cool experience, and people are like, "Oh, you study abroad? Did you study abroad?"
We get it. You
So,
guys are
I
from
feel that.
abroad, okay? It's different for
I
us.
feel that. Yeah.
Fair. That's actually fair. I didn't think about that like that. Why didn't you make that point before? Maybe I would have
Oh
been
my
less
god,
harsh
I'm
on
not
you.
getting to this again, bro. Just fucking talk about Italy, all right?
All right, Tyler. Yeah, tell us about your time in Italy. So this was 2018, right?
Man, it was between
17?
sophomore and junior year, whatever
2018.
whatever year. You were a
Yeah, I
math
think
major
so.
for a year. I'll let you do.
Damn, you
I'll
was in
let figure
you
that
was in
one out.
Italy when Italy also didn't make the World Cup that year. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was tough. 'Cause I was there for the World Cup. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not ideal. But no, I was in Perugia, Italy, which is like dead center of the country. Like if you zoom in on the word Italy on your map, you'll probably land like right about there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was awesome. I got to travel around a whole bunch, got to actually speak some Italian, which I will definitely not do on this podcast in case that was locked and loaded as one of those questions. But yeah, it was nice to actually be in like a little bit of a smaller town so that I could get to actually speak some Italian while I was there. And because it was dead center of the country, it was a nice spot to get to travel around a bit too. So
How many years
and
had you
eat some
spent?
very good food.
Sorry, how many years had you spent learning Italian before going to Italy?
I think I started in 8th grade.
Okay.
So again, I'll let you do the math on.
It's like 6 years.
And then
maybe?
I don't think I took any Italian classes sophomore year of college. Actually,
It's like
I don't think I took any. Yeah, or maybe just the semester before that. I definitely hadn't taken Italian right before I went over there. So
got you.
yeah, I'm really showing off how bad my memory is that I can't even remember all that stuff. So
It's all the gas leaking from the pipe.
Yeah,
Bought the
that
house.
honestly, it might be. Maybe you should take a look at that again and make sure we're all good. But
You're really not going to speak any Italian for us?
no, not a chance.
But like if you do that, then you'll be better than Drew. Like this episode will be better
Yeah.
than Drew's.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good time for me to point out that I believe anyway, so Haran, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but that I was asked before Drew and Charlie.
I believe you probably
or
were.
it
I think
was-
you were. I think you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just have to say that was valid excuses that I had for not coming on the podcast
Yeah,
because it was
this
house.
is the
I'm
third
pretty
time
sure.
I had asked Tyler to be on the podcast.
Yeah, and Haran thought I was scared to talk with all of you guys, but I had legitimate excuses. I think I had friends up the one week that that you invited me, and then I think the next time you asked, I was literally like, that was one of the weeks that I was working like forever on this house. So I was working sun up to sundown pretty much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had very valid excuses, but
Yeah, the second time I asked
yeah.
for photos for like proof. I got we're like, and let me see like your housing agreement. Let me see the picture of the house. Like what's going on here?
I need to
I
do a
think I
hard
did
check
send
on
you
your credit
pictures.
report.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
did. You did.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, like, what's your most memorable city that you visited in Italy?
Man, that's a good question. Let's see. I don't know if it was my most memorable city. My most memorable thing that I did there. So I'm just gonna delay here with my words for a second while I zoom in on the map, just to make sure that I get the name of this lake right. But the most memorable thing that I did was we went out to a lake. Me and a guy named Mitch, who I was friends with while I was over there. And we rented kayaks. So there was there was a castle on one of the islands, and we with our whole crew, whatever, went over and saw that the castle was there, but you couldn't get there. They were like, wouldn't let you into that side of the island because they were like trying to sell the castle. Yeah, so it's Lake Trasimeno and it's Isola Maggiore that it was. And there's maybe it's bought now. But so we really wanted to check out the castle. So we went to like the other side of the lake, rented kayaks, and kayaked through the lake to the island on the side where the castle was, beached our kayaks, and then like climbed up one of the watchtowers.
Oh,
shit. That was there. And that was probably the coolest thing that we did out there, just because it was sweet to get to check out a castle that was out there. So, yeah. And we were just going to play probably the dumb American card and be those annoying people if we had to. But it was just like closed off because they were like trying to sell it. Like it was not like there was anything wrong with it. Or, it was sketchy or necessarily anything like that. But yeah, so we just rented some kayaks and did that. And that was very, very cool. But,
was there anyone else like in the castle at the same time, or was it just you two?
No, so this was I mean, it's in a lake in the middle of Italy, so I don't know why it would have had watchtowers. But there was like a tower like down at the water, and then there was like the castle like kind of up on the hill of the island itself. So we didn't venture all the way up into the we just climbed the watchtower that was like right down at the bottom.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That was probably the coolest. But city-wise, honestly, Milan I went to, and I was very disappointed with Milan. Again, I'm sounding like Drew out here, but it was just a very American city, and I didn't love it. I prefer the European style of city, and Milan is just like a lot newer of a city than some of the other ones in like Italy or Europe really in general. So bringing it back to soccer, actually, a bunch of people I was with, and I was just like, this is not me. I'm not enjoying this. So I just got on it was like 3 trains and went out to see the soccer stadium, to see the San Siro, nice. Which is AC Milan and Inter Milan stadium. So I just ended up going out there then. But Florence is probably my favorite city in the world that I've been to as well. So it's hard to go wrong. It's like a lot smaller than I think, at least I thought it was anyway, before I like went there. But yeah. And then Piazza di Michelangelo is like a piazza up on the hill, like just outside of the city. And you can go up there and get like a view over the entire city of Florence. And that's like peak right there. So
true.
True. And you just got back from Europe. I know you didn't get to explore fully, but what did you notice between what Tyler's talking about with like European cities and American cities?
Am I going to get roasted for like talking about it, or...
It's not a setup.
Depends what you say.
It's a legitimate question. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where were you in Europe?
Your answer I don't know.
I was in Spain.
In Spain? What cities?
Yeah, so I was just in Barcelona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Camp Nou?
What was that?
That's a soccer stadium there. Barcelona Stadium.
Yeah, did you go to Camp Nou?
No, although I will say I did actually look up to see if there's any games going on, because I was there for like a night before like my friends arrived basically. So I was trying to like basically find something to do, but there wasn't anything going on, sadly. But I did think about it.
So if you didn't go to the soccer stadium, you might get roasted for it, but tell us your experience nonetheless, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was good. I feel like I had like this pretty much the same experience you had, in a sense that it's just like really cool to like live within their culture, like something that's so different. And I feel like their life out there, like Italians and Spaniards might be pretty close in terms of like lifestyle, as in like take it easy, like work isn't like the craziest thing, it's more about like living and enjoying and that type of stuff. So I'm sure it was like the same in that sense. In comparison to American cities, like obviously I don't think there is really. I don't know if there's any city like Barcelona is built, I guess.
Yeah, I think the big thing like in Milan, I mean there's certain places of it that are obviously a lot more historical than any city you're going to get in the US, but there's also places of it that are like new, and there's like all the huge skyscrapers, like there's the like more financial area of Milan and things like that too, that just make it feel a little bit more like a US city, and not like the windy streets. And like when you're walking through like Rome, there's like random Roman artifacts just like in the like everywhere you turn pretty much, and historical things everywhere, and the buildings all look so much different than they do like in the US, and definitely Nova where you guys are all at. So it's a very different vibe for sure.
Yeah, I think the only skyscrapers or like huge like glass buildings basically that I saw were like along the beach in Barcelona. It was like a big ass like it almost just looked like a surfboard. So I'm assuming it was like some sort of hotel or something like that. I don't know, but I mean that was pretty insane. It was a cool looking building.
You can chime in now if you want, Christian, or you don't need to.
I mean, no, I was just genuinely curious because it's been a little while since I've been in Europe, but I know I talked about this on one of the episodes recently, but through my job, I got to meet a lot of our European, like my coworkers, I guess, from Europe, and to see how like they approach stuff is different. And I mean, like when I interact with them, I think about like kind of what you're talking about, how like they just approach things differently. And I try to think back to what I did. I mean, I think my time there was a lot more structured, where like we were moving around so much, so I didn't get a lot of time where I was just there without anything to do to like just soak it all in. But yeah, I definitely felt as though like there was just not that much pressure on anything. Like even like I took a lot of like major aside in college. Like I took college pretty seriously. When I got there though, like I don't know if this is true for every study abroad program, but it was definitely like 5% study, 95% abroad. And so like my teacher there at the university, she was like, you know, you could do better than this. And I was like, yeah, I know, but like, honestly, like this is not my priority right now.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I understand that. And I was like, okay, cool.
Honestly,
we're all on the same.
My professor when I was there was very similar too. He was like, you guys are here. Like I went there for, not for engineering stuff, literally just for Italian stuff. And he was like, you guys are learning Italian. So just like travel, like you'll learn as much doing that stuff too. Like actually enjoy studying abroad too. And like this is a story I always tell and get made fun of for my classic study abroad stuff too. But like one of the speaking exams that we had, he was like, yeah, everybody go get a cafe corretto, which is like, also I said that as American as possible there, so I'm not saying it Italian, which is just like an espresso with a shot in it. And he was like, just go do that. You guys will loosen up. It'll be fine. Like no professor in America is going to be like, go have a shot before this test.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I feel like our perception of their like really lax lifestyle might be the fact that we're only there, or like in part the fact that we're only there for like a limited amount of time. So like that's
for sure
kind of like all we can see, you know. And like for us, it's like obviously it's still like a vacation, even if it's study abroad, right? So I feel like that could play a part into it. But definitely like I think when you see like old people or like old people out on like a Tuesday night at like 1 a.m. just like having a beer or something, I feel like I mean maybe like in bigger cities that happens, but I mean I don't necessarily see that type of vibe here, you know. So yeah.
Harsha and Haran, you guys haven't been, well, Haran, I guess you were to Europe. You went to Europe pretty recently, but outside of England for Haran and Harsha, anywhere, where would you guys go as like your ideal European destination?
I want to go to Italy. I want to
get Harsha's answer. I haven't been abroad. I'm curious where your first.
Yeah, I think I'd want to go to Italy. I think I'd enjoy it there. The food and just pictures look really nice. I don't know much about it. It just it looks cool. Yeah.
For me, Spain. Well, mainly because I'm most likely to be going there next summer. But I wanted to go to Spain anyway. And Italy, I think Spain and Italy are like the top of my list. Italy specifically, Amalfi Coast looks really nice. I think I'd like to just go there for like a couple of days. I get like a nice villa or something. That'd be nice. But yeah, I think those two are my top of my list for now.
Amalfi Coast is gorgeous, and you can also just like wander around, and like in all the shops, they all just like give out samples of their liquor, and you can just like bounce around and be like, yeah, I'd like a sample. And you just bounce around, like you just like wander through the streets and shop and bounce into all the different, and they're just like giving out little samples of it, and you can take samples. And, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Greece And like Santorini is like really nice, and I feel like Santorini would kind of like remind me, or Amalfi Coast would kind of remind me what like Santorini is like, in terms of like the design and everything. But yeah, trying to think of other cities. I mean, I'd like to go to Amsterdam at one point. That would be fun.
Drugs.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I just want to go see what the city's like. I feel like it's a very lively city. And I guess like Paris, but I don't know. I feel like people kind of down talk Paris too. Like it's not like built up to everything it is.
My sister lived in Paris for, I don't know, like 8-9 months, whatever. So I went over there to see her in February. And I've been to Paris before. But it's not my favorite city. I feel like you got to do Paris like the way that people tell you not to do it. Like don't try and go to all the famous places in Paris, because that's where you're going to run into all the people that are like, which is also, it's like totally fair that people in Paris are fed up with people coming over there and like not speaking any French and just like hoping, and not even hoping, just like demanding that they get away with speaking English.
Yeah.
So it's totally fair that they're like fed up with that stuff. But I think the cooler places are just like wandering around if you're going to Paris, and trying not to go in those like super famous spots, because it does kind of live up to that, a little bit of that reputation too. I was lucky my sister speaks French, so I was able to like totally get around just fine. Yeah, but I was there for a day without her, and it was fine too. But yeah, I like, to be completely biased, I'd say go to Italy before you go to Paris. Go to Florence or go down to the Amalfi Coast before.
Yeah.
Also, Harsha, I just got to know, what kind of a water bottle are you drinking out of? Because it looks like a soy sauce bottle every time you pull it up.
It's just like, got a Cleveland brown.
Pull it a little farther away from the camera. You know how the soy sauce bottles have that? They're like, does anybody else know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's just a Cleveland Brown designed.
It's just a
bottle.
Cleveland Brown. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I would prefer
It's born in the Midwest, you know.
Yeah, I feel like we got.
I got a question for Tyler.
I was gonna say Harsha, we got to pull you guys in. I feel like it's been too much banter between
I'll
the other.
That's a question, and just keep Turn out of it. Actually, so we talked about
can do.
Like Philadelphia Union and stuff. I was wondering if you're a Philly sports fan for the other sports there. Like, I mean, the Phillies are in the World Series right now. The Eagles are undefeated for now. The Sixers are like 0-3. So, you know, things are doing. I don't know about the Flyers, but maybe they're good. But like,
I think Flyers, I want to say they were undefeated this or something like that too. They were going crazy as well.
What the hell?
Let's pull it up.
Wait, before you answer this, I just wanted to share one thing I saw online. It was like, so basically like right after the Phillies were confirmed to go to the World Series, they had one of the Phillies channels, one of the Philly news channels, were like interviewing people on the street, and they had like these two girls on, and like
I know this story.
Oh, you seen this?
I know where we're going here.
You probably follow Men in Blazers account.
About the Union?
Yeah. So basically, the female reporter was like talking to these females, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like Philly sports going crazy right now. Like we got the Phillies in the World Series. Like pretty much just saying exactly what Harsha said." But then they threw in at the end, like, "Yeah, and then we got the Philadelphia Union like doing well in the MLS." And then like the ladies were like all nodding their head, and as soon as the Union, they were like, the Union? And then she was like, yeah, like the MLS team. She was like the labor union? Like, what are you doing? And then the reporter was like, oh no, we gotta cut it.
Yeah. The response, I'm pretty sure the one person was like, you mean all the blue collar workers?
Oh yeah, the blue collar workers.
And the reporter was just like, all right, we gotta cut.
We gotta go.
And then she was like, the Union is the MLS team who are doing very well in the playoffs right now. Yeah, so that was tough. But to answer your question, I am a Philly sports fan in general. I'm just not as big of a fan of like most of those other sports. I watched a lot of baseball when I was little. I went to tons of games. My dad and I used to go to like probably 4 or 5 Phillies games a year for sure. So I went to the like parade when, what was it, 2008 that the Phillies won the World Series the last time. I went up from Tech actually to go to the parade when the Eagles won the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah,
so,
fuck that. Fuck
granted,
you,
that's like celebrating their wins and stuff like that. But I like loosely pay attention. So if you ask me any technical questions about them, I won't know the answer. But if you're asking if I've been converted to a Lions fan since I've been up here, that would be a hard no. For sure.
Yeah, on the Philly sports culture, I don't know if I shared this on the podcast. I think I did, but I was recently in Philadelphia like last month, and I was there on the weekend where the Commanders, the Washington team, was playing against Philadelphia Eagles. So it was a divisional game, like heated and all that. And I was at if you guys know the show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The owner of the bar is like the main character on the show, Mac, and the bar is called Mac's Tavern. So I was at that bar watching the game, and it was just a bunch of like old Eagle fans, and then me and my friends, and I was the only Commanders fan in that bar. But I didn't want to I was waiting for. So at that point, we had scored 0 points, and I think it was like 21-0, and I was like, okay, I'll wait like 10 minutes, and then if we don't put any points, I'll leave. And we were literally like right at the end zone, and then I think we were at like 4th and something, and we didn't convert. And then I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna leave. And right when I was about to leave, they showed like this young kid like on the screen that was a Commanders fan, like looking really sad. And then one Eagles fan just like got up and he's like, "Take that, you pussy!" And then everyone's like, "Yeah." And I was like,
also though, put a little more context behind. I'm not saying Philly fans aren't crazy, but put a little more context behind it, right? Who's the Commanders quarterback?
Oh yeah, Carson Wentz. Yeah, that is fair. Yeah, a former Eagles player. No. It was just
controversial Eagles player.
No, I mean Eagles fans are
him and Nick Foles.
Yeah, Eagles fans are passionate. I guess in that moment I realized that it was probably a good thing that they didn't score, and I did celebrate because I think I got my ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like people in Philly are passionate, but you would have had to be in like a bad area for anybody to actually do anything besides just talk trash.
Yeah.
Well,
the funniest part was before that we were like walk past one bar, and like my family friend who's from Singapore, doesn't watch football at all, was wearing maroon, which is the color of Commander, like the Commander's colors. And like I stopped them real quick just like look at the score inside, and then the bouncer looked at like my friend. He's like, "Hey, are you wearing maroon because you're a Commanders fan?" And he was like, "Wait, what?" And then I think, all right, we should probably go. We kept walking. But yeah, no, they're very passionate about their sports. I do despise the Eagles and their fans, but it is good to see the division's doing well, I guess, as a whole. So I guess we'll support that.
So does everyone in Philly love Rocky?
They had like a Rocky impersonator at like, so they had like right next to the Museum of Art in Philly. That's where Rocky did his
statues.
Like so Rocky had like a statue like on the bottom of that, and like right next to it there was like a Rocky impersonator that was like sitting next to the statue, and it was like pretty much charging people to take photos with him if you wanted to. What? And like there was a huge ass line of people just like trying to do that. Yeah, people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that's one of those things like I was saying about Paris, avoid the tourist spots. And like there's no reason for me when I'm in Philly for me to ever go to run the steps or anything. I'm sure there's a line of people like for that, but those are all people that aren't from. I mean, most of them probably are people that aren't actually from Philly, So
yeah.
What's the consensus there on cream cheese?
It is actually funny that you asked that question. I never had a take on cream cheese. And we bought some off-brand. I say off-brand as in not Philly cream cheese. Yeah. And I didn't know you could make bad cream cheese. It didn't even spread on my bagel. It did not even spread.
Was it just solid?
It was just butter. Literally. Normally you just smear it right on. It was disgusting. You literally just had to like cut a chunk off, set it on your bagel, cut another. It was terrible. It was the worst experience. So my take is Philly cream cheese apparently is the only good cream cheese.
Nice.
If you had asked me this like a month ago, I would have been like, I don't even know what that means. Cream cheese is cream cheese. But evidently either that or they just don't know how to make it up here. I don't know.
What's your favorite cream cheese flavor?
Plain? I don't know. How many flavors do we have? There's
a lot. There's a
shit ton of
flavors. Garden vegetable? Garden vegetable?
Is Garden Fresh or is Garden?
I mean, there's like some that I don't know about Philadelphia the brand, but like there's ones that you can buy in the store, and then there's ones that like are at the bagel shops, right? I feel like there's differences.
All right, yeah. I mean, I feel like Philly cream cheese is that not the name brand? I guess that's what I want Philly to be known for, right? But okay, yeah.
What's yours, Turn?
The jalapeno one's really good, but also like if you
but Philly cream cheese, or are you talking all?
Yeah,
brands?
it's Philly.
Here. Okay.
There's also a strawberry one, which is pretty good, but it's only good if you eat it with like cinnamon raisin bagels.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a little weird, but Garden Fresh, that's also like a pretty good like safe bet. Yeah.
Dude.
I love a nice white chicken chili that actually has cream cheese in it, which sounded so strange to me. And it is so good. And that's why I was just like that's pretty much the main thing that I eat cream cheese with. I don't actually normally put it on my bagels, to be honest.
You plain bagels?
So I do have plain bagels, but normally
I used to eat plain bagels too,
out.
actually.
Yeah, normally I just go all out though, and I make them all bacon, egg, and cheese. Like it takes like 5 minutes. It doesn't take that long to do. So
Interesting.
I didn't know you were such
Speaking
a
of
cream cheese
that-
connoisseur.
Oh.
I was gonna loop this right back to Haran to see if he's ever done some cooking since tech.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Tyler, because I have.
Here we go.
I have, yeah. So in
Out of necessity.
out of necessity, really, yeah. Because last year I was living at Stanford on campus, and I mean I had a meal plan which I used for like, they have like meal blocks. So you purchase lunch and dinner, like meals separately. So whatever meals I didn't eat on campus, I had to cook, of course. So I did meal prep, mostly a lot more in my third quarter, I guess my second quarter. I was meal prepping a lot, but nothing crazy. It was I pretty much alternated between Mexican rice, fried rice, and pesto pasta with mushrooms and zucchini and whatever. That was on my rotation. In terms of breakfast, I would mainly just do eggs and bread. So nothing crazy, but that was it felt good knowing that I could do that at least. So when I eventually leave home next year, I think the next step will have to be cooking Indian food. So I've been helping my mom.
It's some big steps for you to be making. I feel like you didn't even know how to hold a knife in your junior year.
Actually, he still didn't dare, bro. He fucking cut his finger off. Or not exactly, but he cut his finger.
Yeah, I was cutting everything properly, and then I was like, I'm gonna have an apple this week.
Yeah, it's time to level up to fruit.
I bought an apple, and I was like, and then I realized I didn't know how to cut an apple.
Just use your teeth. What do you mean?
I didn't know how to cut an apple, and that was the first time I cut myself. And then the second time I cut myself wasn't with a knife. Actually, I was literally just I was trying to get Saran wrap, and my finger just slipped, and I cut myself on there.
All right. Honestly, though, I'm not that. You're fairly uncoordinated, man. So I'm not entirely surprised that you managed to cut yourself on Saran wrap.
Hey, but you're proud of the progress I made, though, right?
I'm very proud. Yeah, if you manage to cook Indian food, I might have to make a trip all the way down to Nova or out to Cali, depending on where you're going to be, though, because some of that stuff that you had that I think your mom had made and you reheated was incredible. So if you learn how to cook like that, I might have to venture out there.
Yeah,
that's one thing I've been shocked about with this area that I'm at. I anticipated this was just going to be a bunch of white Midwesterners up here in this area. And there's actually a ridiculous amount of culture up here. There are so many different kinds of restaurants and everything here. There's a lot. There's I mean, I feel like it's kind of how it goes. There's places where there's a lot of one ethnicity but there's a lot of those different groups all around here. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot more diverse than I was thinking it was going to be. So
that's nice.
I haven't found the go-to Indian place just yet, but I found a very, very good Thai place up here. A couple of crazy good Mexican places too. A Chinese food place that was incredible. But anyway, there's a lot. I was very surprised at how much diversity there actually was up here. So it didn't feel like the suburbs of Detroit was going to offer that. But,
what are your go-to meals? Do you still cook a lot at home now?
Me, I'm a pasta hoe for sure. I mean,
this man's been a pasta
official term.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's half the reason why I decided to start learning Italian. To be honest, it's hard to beat a pasta dish, really.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my go-to. Just yesterday, let's say I made it was spinach, some meatballs, some pasta, and a nice little rosé sauce.
Okay.
Wow. That I had. That was pretty good. Yeah. I'll be honest, I've done a little bit less cooking since I moved into this house because I just haven't had that much time.
Yeah.
But before that, I was venturing out a little bit more, doing I did a couple white wine and garlic sauces for pasta as well. Definitely vodka sauce. Vodka sauce is one of my favorites as well. But yeah, pretty much just pasta is
nice.
You can cook it so many different ways,
and
it's incredible pretty much every single way. So
sure.
There's one way where it's not good, and I wasn't there, so I won't tell the story. Would you guys like to give a quick recap of your fucking lasagna?
What are you talking about? It was good.
I wasn't there. I don't know, but the picture you sent me.
Okay.
Lasagna is like easy to. You just throw everything on top of itself, and then you put it in the oven. Did you not cook the noodles or something?
Yeah, we definitely did not do that.
So we got all the stuff. You know, we did it correctly. The top layer, like at that point,
the fact that you have to say you did it correctly is the question.
Listen. The top layer, we just had like too much shit in the pot, basically. So the top layer wasn't submerged inside the pasta sauce, right? I mean, we had some on top that we like spooned over, but like it definitely was not enough, you know, to like submerge and cook it. So when we took it out of the oven, it was essentially just like a plastic chip. But then if you took that layer off, whatever was underneath was perfect. Like
fantastic,
actually fantastic.
If you take out all the bad parts, it was good.
Yeah,
but the thing is, the top layer is usually the best layer, though, in my opinion. Like that's my favorite layer, like because like that's what like a nice, like especially like when the cheese like settles on the top. I feel like that's supposed to be the best one, and we kind of fucked it up. But the taste was there. It's just the texture was missing. But for a first attempt the three of us did it together. Just for context, me, Harsh, and Tarun. I was pretty proud.
Yeah,
it took a while. Who was the lead chef in this adventure?
I don't know. I feel like it was pretty. I feel like it was pretty split.
It was pretty even.
Pretty even. Okay. I don't know. Harsh is the only one that didn't say anything. that he was the leader and he just didn't want to own.
No, I was definitely not the leader. I didn't want to say that I wasn't though, so I'm glad they said it was even.
Okay.
It was at his house though, so I mean, he took lead in that regard. So yeah.
I'm just curious. Is your bed right under that picture of LeBron there? Did you just sleep with him towering over you?
No, actually, his bed is facing the picture, so he wakes up every morning. It's the first thing he sees.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There's one above my. There's another one above my bed actually.
And there's one on the wall next to his bed, and the wall facing that wall.
Yeah.
Every
this
wall
wall right here. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you just drink soy sauce and look at LeBron James.
That's a day in Harsha right there.
Yeah, pretty accurate.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So yeah, that's gonna wrap up the episode for you. Fuck.
For you, fuck.
That sounds perfect to me. We'll end it on that.
We'll end on that. Yeah, we'll end on that. But yeah, we're gonna thank Tyler for coming on this week. Anything you want to like plug or shout out? You want to shout out the U.S. men's national team one more time before the World Cup starts?
Yeah, we can shout out the national team. I don't think I have anything to plug. I don't do anything on social media, so no, don't have anything to plug. But I appreciate you guys having me on. I know you guys tried really hard to get me on multiple times, so I'm a bit disappointed that I came after the other two of the.
But the most important had to go last. So if you think about it like that.
That's fair. Yeah, maybe I'll have to be the first one to be featured twice. We'll see. We'll see how this one does. But,
yeah. But yeah, we'll leave the links to Tyler's socials in our Instagram at Interesting Discussion. And we'll also, if you DM me, I might be able to send some pictures of Tyler's house so you can better find his house in downtown Plymouth. Just to make sure you guys remember that downtown Plymouth.
And he has a yard.
Yep.
He's walkable distance.
He has a yard.
Yes.
Yes.
Breweries and whatnot. Yes.
Exactly. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for here. Be sure. Oh wait. You can find this episode. Fuck! I always forget this part. You can find this episode on. You're probably listening already on Spotify, but if not Spotify, it'll be on YouTube, TikTok, SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram, Reels, GM. Yeah, GM's gonna have that on their cards everywhere in the cards,
preloaded.
Yeah.
We're like a YouTube album.
Yeah.
But yeah, be sure to check us out on all those platforms. We have great content on there. But yeah, thanks you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.